drones, etc. A film village with epic and village houses for theater arts and epic films making. Our studies are skill-oriented with well-qualified academic and technical teachers. We also admit students on industrial training and internship from other institutions. Professional license will be issued to graduates to practice as professionals by Bollywood, a registered professional organization for filmmakers. Wow! What are you waiting for? Rush now and obtain our admission form with 2,000 naira only at our main campus, number 1 Judges Road, 5th floor, former UBA House by NEPA, Waterside Descent, Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, or visit our website. Radio, livingradio.com.ng, The Academy, www.livingtvfilmacademy.com, email livingtvfilmacademy@gmail.com, or call 0805 367 3900 or 0816 641 1400. Signed, Registrar.
left Dr. Eugene Warha. Dr. Warha is a public affairs analyst. Dr. Warha, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Mr. Presenter. Welcome, viewers.
I also have in the studio Professor Chinedum Adiele. Professor Adiele is also a public affairs analyst. Professor Adiele, you are welcome to Issues of the Moment.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Viewers are welcome.
Let me start with you, Dr. Warha. You are aware of what has been happening. You are a keen watcher of that very event, and that's why I invited you to come and talk about this very issue. What is your take on what happened in the UK?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. What happened in the UK in relation to the Ekweremadu'S has turned out to be a sad commentary both on the Nigeria health system, on the Ekweremadu family, and the Southeast in general, because we have in our hand a very bad case, which I don't think originally it was meant to be that bad. But the turn of events in London has brought a lot of issues, especially surrounding our health system, especially in the light of intention as regards organ harvesting. So the way I look at it, I think it's a very sorry situation. But I also believe that the remedy to that situation will be found, especially since no life has been lost already. I am sympathy with the Ekweremadu'S child who is sick and who requires immediate medical attention. So for me, we have to be looking at saving life, and we also have to look at the process of that saving life. So I want the people in London to first of all concentrate on saving the life of the girl, that is the daughter of Ekweremadu, then turn to look at the legal issues that is involved.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Professor Adiele, you have also been following this sad and unfortunate incident. What is your opinion?
Well, I am looking at it from two perspectives. In the first place, whoever that is sick must look for a solution, and there is no reasonable father or parent that want to watch their child die of, And I think what Ekweremadu did, I don't want to believe that Ekweremadu at his level would have just whisked the young man away for organ harvesting without proper arrangement and agreement with the young man and also the family of the young man. So, but because of the rumors, commentaries, going on, it looks as if what he did has not been done before. This organ harvesting and transplanting has always been there. It has been happening. We have both reverend fathers, those in politics, and ordinary people who can afford it that have been doing it. So I don't see anything too bad. I don't see anything too bad about that. Another area I am looking at it, I am also happy that it has happened. That is to tell Nigerians, the leadership of this country, that they have not been doing well at all. Take for instance what happened. In the first place, if we had enough medical facility here and that child was well tested here, I'm not sure these things would have happened. If we have a good hospital here, they wouldn't have gone to London to do all that. But it's quite unfortunate that our leaders keep traveling overseas for medical checkups, sending their children overseas. What they see there, they cannot bring it down here. It's quite unfortunate. And I like what is happening. And let us see if this will help our leaders to sit up. Because what they see there, one of the reasons for going out is to bring it back here. So that those who cannot afford to go there can also have something here, can have a remedy down here in their own society. That's my take on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Adiele. And Dr. Warha, Professor Adiele raised a very salient issue. He said that if we have well-equipped hospitals in Nigeria, the Ekweremadu'S will not find themselves in such a sorry state. Don't you think that he is right? And also, some people are saying that the doctors and nurses that may treat Ekweremadu'S daughter in the UK may be Nigerian doctors and nurses. Don't you think so?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. Not maybe. Many of the doctors in the UK are from Nigeria. We know that for sure. The problem is that of equipment. The problem is not the knowledge. Most Nigerian doctors are knowledgeable enough to handle organ transplant. But the problem is you have the equipment, you have the environment, you have the electricity, power supply that is constant to handle such a high level operation. So like Prof pointed out, the issue of more medical, even our president travels overseas for his own medical checkup. And many other politicians and businessmen. And it has come to schooling, education. Many of our politicians have their children abroad for schooling. So the issue of development in Nigeria, health-wise, has been a very great challenge. And the case of the Ekweremadu'S have brought to the fore this challenge. And it's good that it came up because it will enable us to look at our health sector again, to think of what to do to remedy the situation. That's my take and the way I look at it. So we have to sit up and see what we can do.
Yeah, from what Dr. Moore has said, if you are saying yes, we have the people, the Nigerian medical doctors are knowledgeable enough, and we are talking about the equipment. We are talking about the facilities, to give out the services. Whose responsibility is it to provide these facilities? If you take a look back at some years back, some decades back, when Nigerian budget was at millions of naira, from million to billion, now it runs into trillions. Has the condition of the average Nigerian changed for any good? And when we are talking about this, we should hit the nail at the head. Our leaders have failed. That is exactly what we are saying. How long will a country continue to be a developing country? For how many years? While some other African countries, little countries, even Ghana here, if you remember so many years back, what the bag we call Ghana must go, Ghanaians were here looking for succor, looking for how to feed. But today Nigerians are going over to Ghana. And even their medical facilities, there's nothing to write, you cannot compare it to what we have here. And yet we are giant of Africa, only giant in corruption. What has happened, I think it is a wonderful eye-opener to all our leaders. What do they do with our money? The trillions. The moment it is announced, this one goes to the health sector, this one goes to the school sector, the educational sector. Take for instance, how many months now have these our universities been on strike? Can this happen in a normal country? We're talking about education. And the leaders are not worried about this because their children are studying overseas. It is this same university that you are going to produce doctors, medical doctors, and so on. So what is happening? And all these trillions, where are they? Recently in Abia State here, the Abia State University, I learned that the medical department or whatever, for one reason or the other, that the NUC, had stopped it. For what? For lack of facilities and so on. And then what are we talking about? And look at how this man, a whole deputy Senate president of the giant of Africa, look at how he is embarrassed. He is also part of the mess we are suffering because he's part of the system. What has any of them done to ensure that these things we will pull out of it? That is the question. And look at it, and many more. I know, God is a wonderful. When you look at God's mechanical and mathematical accuracy, He's wonderful. God has allowed this to happen to expose them, to expose the level of corruption that is going on in this country. The trillions and billions we mention on yearly basis, where do they go to? Each governor at the end of his tenure will be richer than the state they govern. Each president will be that. Go to foreign banks and you see where these monies are kept, while people down here are dying. What kind of leadership are we talking about? And that is exactly what Ekweremadu is suffering. Doing as much as I'm not happy that he's facing this, but it's also good he faces it. So that if he has opportunity to be there again, let's see if he do things right, or rather correct those who will be going after him.
Okay, thank you. Now, Dr. Woha, it is a known fact the world over that Nigeria has a weak medical system. Now, do you think that this very unfortunate incident will change anything?
Yes, I think this incident, like we have pointed out, is an eye-opener. And we are going to learn from it. We are going to learn from this embarrassment. We are going to learn from what has happened to the Ekweremadu, which of course can happen to any other person. But there's something I would like to point out. We have a kind of lack of trust in our system. It's a long issue. There are some, way back in about 20 years ago, the kidney transplant has been done in Nigeria, in the hospital in Nigeria, especially in the private sector. But we don't have this trust on our system. So everybody would like to run to UK, to the United States, even for a very simple eye operation. So the moment we start to develop the trust in what we have, instead of keeping on citing the example of Ghana, let me tell you most frankly, the economy of Ghana is smaller than the economy of Lagos State. But because we have this kind of trust in going abroad, in traveling to solve our problem, both our politicians and our private citizens who can afford it, everybody like to say. Some of the universities they attend in Ghana, you cannot compare them with the universities we have here. I'm not saying that we don't have our challenge. We have our challenge quite all right. But you cannot compare universities we have here and those in Ghana.
That is if your universities are operational.
Yes.
If they are operational.
We have a challenge. If you go to Ogun State now, there are 9 universities or 10 universities in Ogun State alone. In Ghana, there are about 5 universities.
The entire Ghana?
The entire Ghana, just 5 of them. So some of the institutions that attend there say it's a university are just privately run high institutions. However, that is not the issue we have at hand.
Yes.
We are talking of the issue of the Ekweremadu'S. We can also look at what they are going through from the legal point of view. We don't have a recent law on organ transplant in Nigeria. In fact, one of the inaugural lectures of the National University dealt with it recently, where the professor suggested that the National Assembly should make a law, a recent law, to cover organ harvesting, so that those who are going into it can be properly guided. In the case of Ekweremadu, both the Ekweremadu'S and the young man you mentioned, his name, David, also have problem legally, because there is a pool where people donate their kidneys if you want to donate voluntarily. And if you are donating to a particular individual, you have to explain why you should donate to that individual, whether it's your relation, because the moment money is mentioned, the inducement is mentioned, it's against the law.
It amounts to exploitation.
Yes, both ways. Either the person giving the money or the person receiving the money. So that is the area the London court is looking at. They are looking at the legal implication, not necessarily whether we have medical facilities or not. They are looking at this young man voluntarily agreed to donate his. Was there at any time the Ekweremadu'S induced him financially to come to London for this exercise? And this matter is not correct. They have been monitoring the Ekweremadu since March. You know the way they do their investigation. They have been on him since March. It was when he entered the plane to come back to Nigeria that they arrested him. But they are not sure that he's leaving the UK. So without sounding prejudice on a matter that is in court, we are still looking at the London court to see that justice is not only done, but it seems to have been done.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, we are going to take the first break of the show. And when we come back, Issues of the Moment continues. Stay tuned.
Admission is ongoing at Living TV Film Academy, Aba, Abia State, for candidates wishing to study filmmaking and mass communication for skill certificate training and degree programs, including mandatory NYSC post-degree service. Courses offered are Department of Journalism and Media Studies, Broadcast Journalism, TV Presentation, Photojournalism, Department of Film and Multimedia Studies, Cinematography, Acting, Video Editing, Film Production, Website Designing, Modeling and Makeup, Bead Making, Screenwriting, Theatre Arts, Department of Broadcasting, Script Writing, Journalism, Reporting, Software Programming, Mobile and Web App Development, Audio Production, Graphic Designing, Digital Animation, Special Effects, Social Media Management. Entry qualifications. Candidates must possess 5 credits in WASICAM GCE, NAPTEB or equivalents. We have the following technical infrastructure for students' skills acquisition: an arts theatre well equipped for modern digital television and radio studios open for hire to the public, an audio suite for music production, soundtracks, sound effects, jingles and voice-over, etc. A 50 feet by 40 feet chroma studio, largest in Africa for special effects, world-class rendering facilities for post-production rendering, animation and cartoon technology, assorted professional cameras, drones, etc. A film village with epic and village houses for theatre arts and epic films making. Our studies are skill-oriented with well-qualified academic and technical teachers. We also admit students on industrial training and internship from other institutions. Professional license will be issued to graduates to practice as professionals by Bollywood, a registered professional organization for filmmakers. Wow! What are you waiting for? Rush now and obtain our admission form with 2,000 naira only at our main campus, number 1 Judges Road, 5th floor, former UBA House by NEPA, Waterside Descent, Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, or visit our website, livingradio.com.ng, the Academy, www.livingtvfilmacademy.com, email livingtvfilmacademy@gmail.com, or call 0805 367 3900 or 0816 641 1400. Signed, Registrar. Admission is ongoing at Living TV Film Academy, Aba, Abia State, for candidates wishing to study filmmaking and mass communication for skill certificate training and degree programs, including mandatory NYSC post-degree service. Courses offered are Department of Journalism and Media Studies, Broadcast Journalism, TV Presentation, Photojournalism, Department of Film and Multimedia Studies, Cinematography, Acting, Video Editing, Film Production, Website Designing, Modeling and Makeup, Bead Making, Screenwriting, Theatre Arts, Department of Broadcasting, Script Writing, Journalism, Reporting, Software Programming, Mobile and Web App Development, Audio Production, Graphic Designing, Digital Animation, Special Effects, Social Media Management. Entry qualifications. Candidates must possess 5 credits in WASICAM GCE, NAPTEB or equivalents. We have the following technical infrastructure for students' skills acquisition: an arts theatre well equipped for modern digital television and radio studios open for hire to the public, an audio suite for music production, soundtracks, sound effects, jingles and voice-over, etc. A 50 feet by 40 feet chroma studio, largest in Africa for special effects, world-class rendering facilities for post-production rendering, animation and cartoon technology, assorted professional cameras, drones, etc. A film village with epic and village houses for theatre arts and epic films making. Our studies are skill-oriented with well-qualified academic and technical teachers. We also admit students on industrial training and internship from other institutions. Professional license will be issued to graduates to practice as professionals by Bollywood, a registered professional organization for filmmakers. Wow! What are you waiting for? Rush now and obtain our admission form with 2,000 naira only at our main campus, number 1 Judges Road, 5th floor, former UBA House by NEPA, Waterside Descent, Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, or visit our website, livingradio.com.ng, the Academy, www.livingtvfilmacademy.com. Email livingtvfilmacademy@gmail.com or call 0805 367 3900 or 0816 641 1400. Signed, Registrar.
Welcome back to the program. This is Issues of the Moment, and on today's edition we are discussing the issue of Ekweremadu and the wife Beatrice. I still have in the studio my two discussants, Professor Chinedum Adiele and Dr. Eugene Woha. And I want to announce that Issues of the Moment is a phone-in program. We would like you to participate by calling us on this very number, 09168284994. I'm going to take it again. 09168284994. Now, Professor Dile, before we went on that short break, you were trying to say something. You can go ahead and say it now.
Yeah, Doc mentioned one thing. He said that we are not talking about the quality of our hospitals. That is not the issue at hand. Yes, you see, one of the problems we have in this country is that we like treating symptoms without the major cause or the root cause of a particular thing. Ekweremadu found himself in that situation because of the poor nature of our medical facilities here in this country. I think that is why he is in that mess. That is why he is in that mess. That is why. And every other Nigerian will want to say, aha, because there is a saying in my place as a Nongwa man, that for a man to claim that he can cure or heal Witilu, that he must first of all bring out his fingers, because it's only those that have suffered it that will know how to, cure it. And being a lawmaker who had been there, and also he also mentioned that the organ harvesting is nowhere is not yet constitutional in Nigeria. In Nigeria, yes, we don't have it in the constitution yet. But the thing that every other person will want to know, because there is a saying that it is always better for a living cock, for a living hen or fowl, to see the dead body of a dog. And if the dog sees that of a fowl, it will look as if it killed it. As far as Ekweremadu is concerned, it will look as if it's either because he has enough money, or because he's influential, or because of his position, and that is why what has happened has happened. Maybe they intimidated the young man to London for this. But I don't want to believe that, because he is a father. He knows the value of having a child. And I also want to believe, now thank God the investigation is going on. Very soon, I think we'll realize that the parents of this young man, if he had parents or relatives, we have duly consulted. Though I was not there, I want to believe that, because a man of that repute, Ekweremadu himself, wouldn't have just picked up the boy that way on the road, just like so many persons are saying, and then force him to London and then want to harvest his organ. No, I don't think so. I want to sincerely believe that there was a proper arrangement. But considering the level of suffering, a lot of people in this country are in hellfire. And this guy, having left the shores of this country and saw himself in London and discovered maybe the organ was not matching and that he was going to be bundled back to this hellfire. And then he decided to make some noise to make sure that he remains there. That is what I want to personally believe, because I am here. I am a Nigerian and I know what is happening. Even those of us people look up to, we know what we are passing through to meet up. There are people who cannot eat 2 square meals in a day.
You are right.
Sometimes even once. And so when such a person sees himself in that level, in that situation in London, where he eats what he likes within the period, and then you want him to come back here. And
there is a constant power supply.
There is constant power supply. You have no problem with you neither know day nor night day because of power supply.
And there are no mosquitoes.
There are no mosquitoes in London. And then you want him to come back here and start suffering those things. No young man will want to accept that. He will prefer to be a slave there in London than to be a big man, because most big men here are suffering. So I think that is exactly what happened. If they go deeper in their investigations, they will discover that the truth is that not that Ekweremadu compelled or forced this young man, but the guy does not want to come back to this country and start all over again. I learned from maybe hearsay or rumors from Greenhorns that the young man also belongs to these those who help these bricklayers, what they call war in Igbo land.
Yes.
That's what he does for a living. If that is what he does, and he sees himself in such a place where he served morning, there is in some parts of this country, a lot of people don't know the difference between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The whole thing is just swallow all the time. And now a young man goes to a place where he sees the difference between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and not that same food. There are people who never tasted any other thing from January to December except Abu and Gari. And you went there to see you change diet on daily basis, and you want to force him back here. The boy will prefer to die there. That is exactly the way I'm looking at it. The boy is just trying to make out something to make sure he remains. And you know, he's not going to come back until this matter ends.
It's all over.
Until the matter is all over. So I think that is what is happening. Not that Ekweremadu may have compared, because
yes,
a man of that position, I don't think he can do a thing like that.
Okay, thank you. Now, Dr. Woha, Professor Adiele raised a very important issue. Do you agree with him?
The issue at hand is not just whether we have a good medical hospital or not.
But excuse me, Doc. No, excuse me, Doc. There is no way we can discuss this issue without talking about our weak health system.
You know what is before us? Even if we have a good medical hospitals and so on, it doesn't mean that we start organ harvesting because we have the facility. It's just beyond that. It's not. They are not there because the hospitals there are laws guiding these things. Whether the operation is to take place in London, or is to take place in Nigeria, or is to take place in Ghana. Even if we build the best hospitals now and we want to do organ transplant, there are still laws that must guide you.
Are you saying because Nigeria has no constitutional backing on organ harvesting, that is why he went to London? Not because we don't have enough medical facilities?
No, I'm saying that even if we have enough medical facilities, the problem Ekweremadu has will also be there. They are trying to determine whether this young man is giving out this kidney out of
willingly. So
it's not a question of whether the hospital is in London or in Nigeria. However, I'm not saying that we will not have good hospitals, because the health challenge is not only on organ transplant. In this environment, malaria alone kills many people. So we still have the problem. However, the problem Ekweremadu'S have borders on the legality of what they want to do, whether it is legal or not legal, whether there was monetary inducement, which can also occur in Nigeria. Many things happen in Nigeria that involves monetary inducement.
Mr. Moderator, let me ask Dr. Wan this simple question. Yes. Are you telling me if we have enough well-equipped hospital that Ekweremadu, if we had a well-equipped hospital, are you telling me that this problem would have happened, or Ekweremadu would have been arrested in Nigeria here?
If Ekweremadu is not arrested in Nigeria, it's failure of the law. Because
it's just a simple question. I want to know.
Yes, organ harvesting is a crime, whether in London or in Nigeria. But even if he wasn't arrested,
if it is a voluntary donation to save life, what makes it a crime?
You will donate it to a pool.
No, Doc, excuse me. I want to disagree with you on this very issue. I'm a broadcast journalist. Yes. About 2 years ago, Federal Medical Center Omahia. Omahia is the capital of Abia State in southeast Nigeria. Now, they did an organ transplant. I covered it. I was in the theater. So I think the question being asked by Professor Adiele is relevant as far as this issue is concerned. If we have good and well-equipped hospitals, I don't think Ekweremadu would have been in this very mess.
You have cited an instance of the one that happened in Omahia. Is it not the same organ transplant? It goes back to the point I made earlier that we don't have trust in what we have as a people.
Maybe that facility no more then is now obsolete.
Maybe, and he didn't say so, but he just cited an example which buttressed my point. I said, even if this organ transplant is taking place in Omai at the Federal Medical Center, the law covering the...
You are considering the legal implication.
The legal implication.
And that is exactly what is happening in London.
In London.
The London thing is illegal.
But my own
Yes.
Whether the hospital is good or not.
Or not, yes.
They have not come to that.
And it is not even their making to determine whether our hospital is good or not.
And
It's not.
And in the democracy, the Ekweremadu'S have the individual right either to do the transplant in Omaya or to do it in London.
Overseas.
There's no law which says they must do it at Omaya, or there's no law which says they must do it in London. It's a personal choice.
Okay, Professor Dele, as far as this issue is concerned,
Not even a personal choice. It's because the money is too much.
yes, and I don't want to.
It's too much, even in London.
With them.
Gentlemen, excuse me. Professor Dele, there are issues here we cannot sweep under the carpet as far as this issue is concerned.
Yes.
Now, Ekweremadu, he has 3 other children.
Good.
Yes. And if they love their daughter so much, that is Sonia, why didn't one of them donate his or her kidney?
I don't think we can answer that.
Excuse me, I'm calling.
For us to be religious.
Yes. And I ask this question because apart from being a professor, you're also a clergyman.
Yes.
Now, if they love her so much, why didn't one of the kids donate the organ to the sister? And with this, don't you think that it amounts to exploitation, which is the matter we are discussing?
One of the reasons why he's held there in London, because yes, you are very right. I had wanted to look at that. At that part, I don't know Ekweremadu too well, except that he's a Senate Deputy President. I don't know the number of children he has. But if he has other children who are there, whose kidneys are okay, about 2 or 3 of them, unless he's telling us or he wants to tell us that all of them are managing one kidney and there is no need removing it. If there is any of them that has 2 kidneys and knowing too well that they are of the same, they are of the same progenic nature, because one Chinese language says to the climbing of to the progeny of the monkeys, climbing is natural. Now there wouldn't have been any need to say this one matches or this one does not match because they are of the same blood. Now that is a very big question. If they love these children so much, if they had no intention to exploit, if they had no intention to sort of humiliate this guy because he has no money, the family has no money, why wouldn't one of the children, why wouldn't they get to, in fact, if Ekweremadu had been in London with one of his children for this organ harvesting, I'm not sure there would have been any form of arrest.
No, I don't think so.
And then the person doing it will know this is what I'm doing for my family. I read in the social media the other day, a young man donated one of his kidneys to the mother, and at the end of the day, the mother survived, but the young man died. And now you can't arrest the mother. This is something the young boy voluntarily, willingly did because he wants the mother to live, not knowing that he was not going to survive.
The voluntary thing is important.
That is it.
Yes, in organ transplant. But the case we have at hand, remember what happened when they checked and saw that of David will not match the medical.
Yes.
They let him go. It was David himself who went to the Metropolitan Police
and raised the alarm.
Yes.
He came back to the point I raised here.
Yes.
Because of the level of poverty.
He doesn't want to come back to Nigeria.
Maybe.
Yes, but that is the truth.
Maybe.
So that is also, if you look at it also properly well, you now discover that the whole thing looks as if, it looks so cosmetic, as if this guy was compelled to do this. It was not out of his sheer willing, it wasn't his volition, in the first place, to have volunteered. Because if it was agreed that the thing they failed, and who knows, being a Nigerian and an Igbo man, who knows if at the end of the day, whatever balance that remained would have been paid. These were some of the things the young man remembered and said
we,
no.
We also have to blame the Ekweremadu'S in particular for not confirming that this boy
down
here. Because we have the fact that we have Paul Medical, we can confirm this before
in Nigeria here.
Yes. Before even traveling.
Yes.
Because even that operation can also be done here.
That is where the trust you're talking about without coming.
Yes, we don't have trust at all. It's not only in the medical, in our education system, in our transportation, name it. We don't have, even in fuel. Now, if they say this fuel is from London, people will abandon the what?
No, why would we have trust? For how long now the university has been on strike? So how can we have trust? How can you even trust the government?
Trust is a matter of
They are no more representing the masses. They're only representing themselves and their families. That is the problem we are having here.
I agree with you. There's this level of mistrust.
Yes, they are representing themselves.
And those they are governing. And it's a problem. Even our currency, we don't trust our currency. We don't love ourselves. So a lot of...
Because the currency has equally fell.
Yes, if
what is 1 naira? What is 100 naira to $1 now?
The moment trust is lost, you have lost everything. So for us, we have to build back trust in ourselves, build back trust, even between a father and the son. There should be that level of trust, the daughter and the mother.
How do we build back this trust?
Yes.
2023 is fast approaching.
Yes, we can build trust.
And the money banks have started again.
So we can start by making sure that our votes count. It's a matter of trust. The government has to make that election to be transparent. We have to ensure that what we are doing is transparent among ourselves. It is when we trust ourselves that even foreigners will start to trust us. Foreigners cannot trust you if you don't trust yourself. However, coming back to the Ekweremadu'S, I'm very sure that the London court will do justice to this because they will have to determine first whether this trial should take place in London or in Nigeria. Because part of this offense was committed in Nigeria before they travel.
It's not going to be, it cannot be here. Do you know why it won't be here? Like you rightly said, what he has committed has no constitutional backing here in Nigeria. And that modern slavery act, we need it here in Nigeria. It is very, very important because almost all the leaders, political leaders in Nigeria, they are seeing their subjects as their slaves by way of treatment and so on. How can you let people out of school, university, for all this, and the money we are talking about is not their money, it's not their personal money. It is a money joint owned by this country. And just because they are the one directing and moderating it, and look at what is happening. And so when you talk about this modern slavery act, I think it is more in this country than any other place. I thank God for God has used what happened to Ekweremadu to explain and expose a lot of things. We need this modern slavery act. Both the local government chairman, the councillor, the governor, the senator, House of Assembly, all of them, they are enslaving the people, impoverishing the people. And that is why, okay, you see a man who started, most of them had no buildings when they go in. But go in there and see investments. While the people who voted them to power are suffering, doing nothing, some cannot even feed. And all they become God as soon as they are elected, so that you come down to beg food from them. What kind of, is that not slavery?
It is.
It is a big slavery. So
I agree with you.
We should look inward.
Laws.
Okay, Dr. Woha, you raised the issue of restoring confidence in our health personnel. I know that Nigeria has become, can I say, this is where health personnel are being trained and they leave the shores of Nigeria. Okay, we've lost the call. Now, we know that our health personnel, they leave the shores of Nigeria because of unconducive working environment. Now, how can we restore confidence so that they will stay here and work for Nigeria because they were trained here.
Yes, we need to invest in the health sector. So we need a lot of investment in that sector. And that investment should come both from the government and from people who are wealthy enough. This idea that the government is going to solve problems is not possible.
Okay, Doc, let us take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us on the program. Please, can you tell us your name and your location?
Yes, this is Musa calling from Kano State.
You are calling from Kano State. Okay, Musa, thank you for joining us. Please, can you ask a question or make a contribution?
Okay, I want to ask a question about this one called Ekweremadu.
Hello?
Go ahead.
What the man can't travel with that small boy to outside the country. That is so that we don't have a good impact, so especially in terms of hospital and everything. So this thing, the man have to go to prison.
Okay, thank you, Musa, for your contribution. Professor Dele, I want you to address that issue. Who is Ekweremadu?
Yes, my brother Musa, thank you for watching and Living TV this morning. But I want to tell you, just like Dr. Wa said, this is a constitutional issue. Right there in London is a constitutional issue, and that is why it's in court. And nobody will be too fast to say whether he will go to jail or not until the court decides otherwise. And like we've been discussing here, we don't yet have such constitution. We don't have any modern slavery act in Nigeria. And I think that is why our leaders are behaving the way they like. Because I know too well, even if we should have such constitution, I know too well when a governor or a president or whosoever that is in charge, even a managing director of an organization, fails to pay the workers' salary, automatically, if anything happens to them, or maybe they get sick and get to the hospital and die, that governor, that managing director, that president is a murderer. He has succeeded in killing that person. And that is just the way it is. But because such thing is not yet in Nigeria, we pray that Nigeria is growing. And we are also knowing too well that by 2023, we are going to have, by the special grace of God, new crop of leadership in Nigeria that will understand all these things. So for now, back to your question, the court will decide his fate. I'm sure they are serious in their investigations, and very soon they will come out with the last. We don't pray for him to die or to be jailed, but we pray that this will be a lesson for him, not just him, for every other Nigerian, and then especially those of them at the column of leadership.
So, like I was saying,
yes, before that call came in,
yes,
I asked you, how do we restore confidence?
We have problem of low investment.
Yes.
In almost all our sectors, agriculture, health, education. We have to invest more. And let me also tell our people, we cannot just become London or America just by wishing that we are.
It doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't happen that way. Many people are doing a lot of comparison that is not very, very good. And that kind of comparison is making our youth not to work hard. These people worked very hard to take their society to where they are. Some of them 200 years, some 100 years. So we have to start working hard, and our expectations should not, like we were saying, David is in London, he will be eating good food. Who will give him good food in London? He has to work for good food in London. So our youth
the government is so assuring.
Our youth are taking this type of argument that because here is Nigeria, everything is so difficult. If you just go to London or to the United States, you will eat chicken in the morning, rice in the afternoon, and tea in the. It's not so. The people there are also working very hard to ensure, and their government is also working hard, not the type of corrupt system we have here. So it is this type of thing that can make a society to come to that level. Not the type of thinking we have, where we say we have so much oil money, therefore, even one teacher in the primary school was teaching that all these pupils in the primary school can get 1 million naira each. From the type of money we have. So if you start from primary school to give this type of teaching, what do you expect the youth to do? All the youth will be folding their arms, waiting for the 1 million of oil money.
A little addendum to that question, and also what Doc said. You know, if you want to talk about having a better Nigeria and so on, we will also consider the quality and caliber of leadership we have and we are going to have.
Everything borders on leadership.
It borders on leadership. Leadership first, because who is a leader? A leader is the person who also directs, who will also tell what he wants. So for us to talk about changing our value system and the way we reason, we must have quality leadership. People who are selfless. It's just that time is failing us. I would have at least defined the type of the Athenian democracy. The 3 stages of this democracy is quite different from what we have here.
Okay, Prof, thank you. You will do that in another edition of Issues of the Moment. That is a promise. And I think we have come to the end of today's edition of our program. For the past 15 minutes, we have been talking about the Ekweremadu'S saga. All of us are aware that Ekweremadu and the wife were arrested in London. They were charged with organ harvesting. Dr. Eugene Wo and Professor Chinedu Madele, I want to thank you for being part of today's edition of the program. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having us.
My name is Chimezie Ozems. Join us on Friday for a fresh edition of the program. Thank you for watching.
Admission is ongoing at Living TV Film Academy, Aba, Abia State, for candidates wishing to study filmmaking and mass communication for skill certificate training and degree programs, including mandatory NYSC post-degree service. Courses offered are Department of Journalism and Media Studies, Broadcast Journalism, TV Presentation, Filter Journalism, Department of Film and Multimedia Studies, Cinematography, Acting, Video Editing, Film Production, Website Designing, Modeling and Makeup, Bead Making, Screenwriting, Theatre Arts, Department of Broadcasting, Script Writing, Journalism, Reporting, Software Programming, Mobile and Web App Development, Audio Production, Graphic Designing, Digital Animation, Special Effects, Social Media Management. Entry qualifications. Candidates must possess 5 credits in WASICAM GCE, NAPTEB or equivalent. We have the following technical infrastructure for students' skills acquisition: an art theatre well equipped for modern digital television and radio studios open for hire to the public, an audio suite for music production, soundtracks, sound effects, jingles and voice-over, etc. A 50 feet by 40 feet chroma studio, largest in Africa for special effects, world-class rendering facilities for post-production rendering, animation and cartoon technology, assorted professional cameras, drones, etc. A film village with epic and village houses for theatre arts and epic films making. Our studies are skill-oriented with well-qualified academic and technical teachers. We also admit students on industrial training and internship from other institutions. Professional license will be issued to graduates to practice as professionals by Bollywood, a registered professional organization for filmmakers. Wow! What are you waiting for? Rush now and obtain our admission form with 2,000 naira only at our main campus, number 1 Judges Road, 5th floor, former UBA House by NEPA, Waterside Descent, Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, or visit our website, livingradio.com.ng, the Academy, www.livingtvfilmacademy.com, email livingtvfilmacademy@gmail.com, or call 0805 367 3900 or 0816 641 1400. Signed, Registrar.